Good day to all of you, and God bless you too. My name is Dr. Alexbritish Tasie. I am a native of Ishopo Ancient Kingdom in Ikwerre land, Rivers State of Nigeria, West Africa. I am a writer, a musician, a filmmaker, a football coach, a historian, and also a multi-dimensional thinker. I am a self-appointed, self-acclaimed president of the Nigerian semi-educated people. The people in Nigeria that are not well-educated people, that are not highly educated people. I am a self-appointed, self-acclaimed president of those people in Nigeria. I am an Ikwerre historian who is vastly and sufficiently informed about the background history of Ikwerre people. I am an Ikwerre image maker, and I am popularly called Professor of Native Intelligence. What I have here to talk about is something that has to do with one of the versions of the history of the origin of the people of Ikwerre land. And that is in the area of Igbo connection. I have treated the Benin connection. I have talked about the nowhere, the autonomous version of the history of Ikwerre people. This one is about the Igbo connection. And the question, like others, is, are Ikwerre people actually from Igbo land? Actually Igbo people? Are Ikwerre people actually from Igbo land? Actually Igbo people? I think that this is one of the most interesting versions to talk about. People, especially our Igbo brothers and sisters, want to know in actuality whether Ikwerre people are Igbo people or not, or whether Ikwerre people came from Igbo land or not. From the year 2010 to this day, I have received more than 400 phone calls from different people in that group asking one question or the other. And most of them are interested in this particular version, whether Ikwerre people have anything to do with Igbo people or not. And that is what I want to give attention to in this particular episode. Are Ikwerre people actually from Igbo land, or are Ikwerre people actually Igbo people? I want to teach. What I have here to do is to teach. And in fact, I want you to acknowledge me as the best historian to come from Ikwerre land, to even come from Igbo land. I want to teach. And I want to teach you something that you have never known before. You have never heard before. I have been having these reservations for a very long time. I think it is now necessary and important to burst it open so that we can settle this matter once and for all. And after this teaching, this lecture, and you continue to debate that Ikwerre people are Igbo people or they are not Igbo people, then something is wrong somewhere. What I am about to teach here is something that nobody in the whole of Igbo land, in the whole of Ikwerre land, has ever taught before to anybody. Nobody has ever read it from any history book. Nobody has ever captured it. And at the end of this lecture, all that I want from you is to acknowledge me as the best. You might call it self-adulation. No problem. This is my field. The lawyers have their own work to do. The clergy has their own work to do. Professionals in different fields of life have their own jobs to do. In this particular discipline, I am actually the best to come from Ikwerre land. And I am going to broach and approach this issue in segments. So listen so that you can learn. And after learning, please acknowledge me as the best. Are Ikwerre people actually Igbo people? Are Ikwerre people actually from Igbo? Two things are here. I am going to create a lucid, bright background for this so that we can comprehend it very well. In fact, this particular subject matter is very elastic, and I am going to stretch it like a catapult to its limits, to its extreme for our comprehension. And Michael, dear, I have been teaching. Professor Tasie said to me, if you had been teaching in the university, you would have become an old professor by now. And so many people know it. Even the academic people, they know it. That I have something upstairs to talk about, to teach, to offer, especially in the area of Ikwerre history and culture. I will start by explaining what people mean by the word Igbo. So that those people who constantly believe and say that Ikwerre people are Igbo people, Ikwerre people came from Igbo, will understand it very, very well. Let me begin by saying this. All throughout the periods of the 19th century, the periods of the 18th century, the 1700s, the 17th century, the 1600s, back west, there was nobody called Igbo. There was no group called Igbo. Listen, I have been keeping my reservations for a very long time, and I want to bust it open so that we can settle this matter once and for all. I repeat, all throughout the 19th century, the 18th century, the 17th century, back west, nobody was titled, called, known as an Igbo person. No group was also styled, named, called, regarded as an Igbo group as we have it or them today. Nobody. What happened and used to be in those periods, in those days, was that every group of the society lived, existed on its own. The identity of an individual in a particular group was just limited to that particular group. And the identity of a person was never extended beyond the shores, beyond the circumscription of that particular group. So, nobody was generally given a name to encompass other groups in a way to bring them into one identity. Nobody was known called an Igbo person in the period that I am talking about. And that is why there is no intelligent report, no indigenous anthropological report in a way of ethnography, ethnology, where someone was quoted as saying, through souvenir, through questioning, that I am an Igbo person. If anybody can lay hands in any of the documents of this kind, I will give that person 100,000 naira and make it public. Search your records and see that in the period that I am talking about, if there was anybody who was quoted that said, I am an Igbo person as we have it today, I will give that person the sum of 100,000 naira. And so, at the time I am talking about, the period in history that I am talking about, every group existed on its own, almost in isolation, not trade-wise. But historically, every group was on its own and had no connection with another group. If there was any connection, it remained and existed within that same premises, within that same circumscription, within that same environment. But it never extended outside. And so, a person from Ikwerre was known as an Ikwerre person. An Ngwa person was known as an Ngwa person. An Onitsha person was known as an Onitsha person. An Nsukka person was known as an Nsukka person. An Afikpo person was known as an Afikpo person. So on and so forth. There was no general identity to bring everybody together. There was no general identity for everybody that today we call Igbo people at the time that I am talking about. So, the Ohafia person was not called Igbo. The Nsukka was not called Igbo. The Onitsha was not called Igbo. The Ikwerre was not called Igbo. The Ngwa people were not called Igbo. Allow me to use singular terms, to talk about the groups. I am referring to them as groups. So as individual groups, not about the people who are in the groups. So I want to continue to use these singular terms. So an Oguta person was not called an Igbo person in the period that I am talking about. And so there was no need for an Nsukka person to look at somebody from Oguta and say, that person is an Igbo person. Somebody from Ikwerre to look at the exact Igbo person and say, that person is an Igbo person. He is my brother. He is my sister. No, that never existed in the periods that I am talking about. Every group was on its own, had its own dealings. If there was need to relate with other people, then it was mainly diplomatic or trade-wise. But in the area of identity, origin, it only existed within that group. So the name Igbo to represent a particular people for the reasons of symbiotism came out during the anthropological studies on the people that are called Igbo people today. And that was carried out by the white people. Listen, the name Igbo came about when the white people began to carry out anthropological studies on the people that are called Igbo today. So they found it out. They brought out that name. Before the white people came, as I have said, I want to continue to hammer on this so that you understand me very, very well. Nobody was called an Igbo person. No group was called an Igbo group as we have them today. Nobody, no group. Until the white people came, began to study the people. And at the turn of the 20th century, the name Igbo emerged. And it emerged from one clergy, I think a Catholic clergy, in the person of the late Joseph Shanahan, Reverend. He was the person who gave the Igbo people the name Igbo today. It was not an indigenous name. There is no record we can lay our hands today and say, one person said, this is our name, when he was asked by the white people. As I have said, if you can get any record like that, I will give you the sum of 100,000 naira. And Joseph Shanahan did not give entirely everybody the name Igbo at the same time, because he never visited all the groups at the same time. Oh, the British, I want to give you a study that you have never had before, and you must acknowledge me as the best. Joseph Shanahan gave the people the name Igbo, and he did not give the name to all the groups at the same time, because he did not visit all the groups that are called Igbo today at the same time. The people he met around what we call today Anambra area were the people that initially Joseph Shanahan gave the name Igbo. And the name he learned from Reverend Joseph Ajayi Crowther, the Bishop Ajayi Crowther. The name he learned when he came from the Yoruba area and reached Benin. The people of Benin called a thick bush, a thick forest, Igbo. So the name became corrupted and he called it Igbo. Somebody will tell you the name Igbo means Ndibo. Ndibo, ancient people. What that invariably means is that any group of people in Nigeria, in the world that is ancient, is also Igbo. So it does not mean Igbo because the people of Benin are ancient. The Ijos are ancient. The Kanuris, the Yorubas, the Hausas, the Jekuns, the Ibibios are all ancient people in Nigeria. Outside Nigeria, the Ashantis, the Egyptians, the Germanic tribes, the Celtic tribes, they are all ancient people. So they should also be called Igbo. So that is outside that. It was Joseph Shanahan that came, looked at the people and said, these people live in the forest area. They live in a thick forest area. And he called them the name the Yoruba people call, the Benin people call, Igbo, Ebo. And he corrupted it, Igbo, I-B-O. And the name was not general. It was a particular people. Then, how did the name become a general name for all the people who today call themselves Igbo people? And make out, dear, Ikwerre, make out, dear, acknowledge me. The name went viral, became general when anthropological studies began to go round. People like M.J.C. McKinsey, Major A.G. Loniard, Dr. Parsia Maury Talbot, Dr. W.B. Becker, and others began to carry out historical excavations in this part of the world. And they relied, leveraged on what Joseph Shanahan originally called them, initially called them, and they began with that name. They began with that name, Igbo. G was later added by Igbo scholars to make it native. Ndibo. As I have said, this subject matter is very elastic. And in this episode, since this argument has been raging for a very long time, it is very necessary for me as an Ikwerre historian who spent time in the area of Ikwerre history and culture, in the area of Igbo history and culture. I have told you before in other episodes that I visited more than 26 Igbo communities to know who Igbo people are, what they do. Igbo? No, that is not what Igbo originally means. The word Igbo means a thick bush, a thick forest. And it is not only synonymous, it is not only homogeneous with the people of Igbo land. The name can be found in other parts of Nigeria too. Like in Ikwerre here, where I come from, we call a thick forest Igbo, the same spelling. Igbo go. The Eche people call it Igbo Eche. In Yoruba land, it is there. Igbo Asako, Igbo Aro, Igbo Efun, then Ijebu Igbo. In Igbo land, it is there. Igbo Uku, a big bush, a thick big forest. In Igbo Etiti in Abia State, a central thick bush. Then in Ika, it is here, Ika Igbo, Ika people that live in the forest area. It is not only the people of Igbo land that have the name Igbo. The name is a name for every group of people that lived at that time around a thick forest. So it is not an indigenous name. It is not a name that we say, somebody gave. Have it in mind. And that is why Igbo people find it difficult to explain their origin. When you ask an Igbo person, explain where Igbo came from, he or she will run away. Why? Because there was no a common founder who founded today what we call Igbo land. There was no papa, there was no mama who bettered everybody today that we can call an Igbo person. So how did the name come about? When there was no papa, when there was no mama, how are we all one? Huh? Nobody. There is no history book. You can go to and say, this man, Igbo, founded Igbo land. See his origin. In the year 2010, I conversed with one prominent Igbo scholar and in the Igbo leadership, in the person of Dr. Joe Wong. He was, at some point, a former Secretary General of the Ohaneze Igbo worldwide. And I asked him in Enugu, where did Igbo come from? Is it from Israel? He distanced himself and asked me to distance myself too from that version of origin that Igbo people came from Israel or so. I have heard from the former governor of Imo State in the person of His Excellency Chief Ikwerre explaining Igbo history as a people who came from Israel, passed through Ethiopia to Egypt, down to this area. And he still asks the same question too as they ask us. What language did they come with? What kind of foods? What kind of costume did they come with? They came and they lost their original language. Somebody will ask you, why do you not even speak Bini? It is the same asking, why don't you speak the Jewish language? Away from that, Igbo does not mean anything other than a thick bush, a thick forest, a people who live in that area. A people. Not giving any identity at the background. A people. From where? We will not rest. Ikwerre is Igbo. This one is Igbo. Meya is Igbo. Oba is Igbo. Boni is Igbo. Opobo is Igbo. Even Calabar Efik is Igbo. Kutura is Igbo. Everybody is Igbo. Who gave birth to all the people you say are Igbo people? Who founded the land that you call Igbo land? Who? So the name came from the late Reverend Joseph Shanahan. And it means a thick forest, a thick bush, a people that live in that area. And also have it, I want to recap, that there was no mama, there was no papa who gave birth to all the people you know today as Igbo. Have it also in mind that the world began to go viral, general, when the white people began to carry out anthropological studies on these people that are called Igbo. When they started that, they began to look at the similarities between the people. They began to study them. And they agreed that they are all the same people. The white people, when they began to study, they began to look at the similarities, the commonalities between the groups. And they also discover sufficiently, have this in mind now. This is very, very important. They discovered sufficiently that yes, there may be similarities, especially in the area of language, Nembiare, but there are glaring variances, differences between members of the groups, and they sum them up as subgroups. You can make out there, Igbo mama, Yeah. You must acknowledge me as the best. If I hear this kind of history anywhere without you referencing me, I will sue to court because you don't know it. You don't know it. 24 years studying a particular people is not an easy thing. I have discovered a lot and I have known a lot. I teach a lot too than anybody. Yes, there may be similarities. They look at this in language. They look at this in name bearing. They say all these people, they are like one people. They are like one people. And they sum them up as subgroups. They began to group the people into groups. It was a very strenuous and onerous, time-consuming, tasking job to do, which nobody from this Nigeria ever did apart from the white people. We must also acknowledge them. They began to carry out historical studies on the people and began to sort them out based on their similarities, based on their dissimilarities. And the cow, dearly. Alexbritish. I am a guru, a doyen in this area. And they call them subgroups. People that have subset of culture in resemblance to other groups or to another group. But they never cared to ask each of the groups, where did you people come from? That would have settled everything forever. If they had ventured in finding out the origins of the groups, since there was no father, there was no mother who bettered everybody, that would have settled all this quarrel, all this debate that has been lingering for ages. So they now began to sort out the people based on their differences, based on their similarities. And they continued with name Igbo people. This is a subgroup of the Igbo. That is a subgroup of the Igbo. If they had ventured to find out the origins of the members that they grouped as one, that they gave one identity, that would have unnetted the background stories about the people. But they never did that. They never ventured into that. They never cared to do that. They just lumped everybody into one name, into one identity. Igbo. And make up dearly. Quite interesting. I have been calling for debates with people for many years now. Nobody cares. Let me release all that I have. Someday, if here is not interesting anymore, people don't care about how the historian fares. I'll take my family, go to another man's country, and we'll continue life there. Life is a matter of option. So let me teach you all that I have to teach you, that I am still practicing. When I stop practicing, you can still go back to look at all the things that I have done. The white people began to sort out people, began to study the people, and they agreed that all of them looked likely the same, but not the same. And they all summed them up subgroups. Each particular subgroup has an origin because they do things in peculiarity. They are common in what they do, each particular group. What a particular group does is not what another group does. So there must be a reason for that. Why the white people did not say all of them are Igbo, they said a subgroup of Igbo. They brought the name, they know what it means. They gave the identity to everybody. They did not even ask the people, are you Igbo or not? And explain to the people what the term, what the name Igbo means. Huh? They did not ask a question of this kind. You are Igbo. So how am I Igbo? What does it mean? Then he will explain. That would have helped to satiate our curiosities in this area. But they went on and lumped everybody, summed up everybody as belonging to one group with an identity they created. Igbo. So the name Igbo is not indigenous. Nobody gave Igbo people the name. No papa, no uncle, no brother, no mama, no sister that bore the name Igbo and the white people copied it. Or nobody was quoted as saying, our people are Igbo people, and the white man recorded. They just came, looked at the people based on the geography, and said, they are Igbo. They live in the bush area. And today, we will not hear something. You are Igbo, you are Igbo, you are Igbo, you are Igbo. How did it come about? They do not know. They do not know. Originally, nobody was Igbo. If you agree to be Igbo, you are a person that lives in the bush area. You are a person that lives in the thick forest area. That's what it means. People have been clever, very smart to change it. Igbo, it didn't work. That did not work. Every group that is ancient is Igbo. So that didn't work. Huh? So what does it mean? You see somebody from Izzy, you say Igbo. No. Nobody was actually Igbo. All the people we are not Igbo at that time. Nsuka people, we are not Igbo at that time. Onitsha, we are not Igbo at that time. The Igbo people, we are not Igbo at that time. Ikwerre people, we are not Igbo. Because they looked at it and see that, yes, there may be symbiotism, shared culture, but that does not mean that they are one people. Since the issue of who bettered Igbo is settled, let us ask this pertinent question. So because somebody from Eza answers Ikechukwu, answers Chinedu as I answer Chinedu, he's my brother. Now I'm asking, because somebody from Suka bears Obinna, and my good friend here bears Obinna, they are one people. That was why the chairman said, if we had known you better and more during the Oputa panel issue, you would have gone to represent Ikwerre because you know so much. I know so much. You can't trick me. There's no question, there's no I can coin something to trick me. I know what I know, and I know what I know because I studied it. It is not abuse. You don't have anything here. Engage me scholarly, academically. Let's discuss. Don't abuse, don't curse. If you curse and abuse, don't anything. You're a moron. That somebody from Onitsha bears a name similar to the Eza person, the Ikwerre person. They are one people. Just like that. Just like that. They are one people. How? And you cannot explain. Huh? You cannot explain. After the white people carried out their anthropological studies, the people who began to spread the name Igbo to every group at that time are the people of Arochukwu. Aleka, dear. The Arochukwu people are the people who started fanning out the name, propagating the name Igbo. And at that time, they placed themselves on top of every other Igbo. They called themselves Aro-Oke Igbo. That was how the name began to spread. Arochukwu people began to arrogate to themselves the super house, the powerhouse, the headquarters of all the Igbo people. At the turn of the 20th century, up to the 1920s, the Aros were very powerful in this part of the world. They were not powerful because they were great traders. No. People don't know about the Arochukwu. I know. Arochukwu people were never the best of traders. People associate them with the slave trade era as merchants. No. You cannot find any history book where the white people reported that the powerful Arochukwu man was so powerful in that trade. Find the book. Mention the name. Let's search it. Arochukwu people were raiders. They were going to communities, raiding communities, burning houses down in order to capture people to sell. At that time, this identity was never there. Every group existed on its own. There was no sympathy to what other people fed. Nobody cared for the plight of any other people. The survival instincts made people push out, release all their extremes. The Arochukwu people raided communities, captured people who spoke the same language they used, and sold them to the white people. When I mean selling now, they were not selling majorly like big time merchants. Petty selling. Also here, as we have to go to the also here. Errand boys in the business. That's what we are doing. Somebody is writing, the northern people killed 4 million people, killed 10 million people, and nobody cared. He has never studied how many people, the number of people that Arochukwu people captured for the white people to sell. He has not cared because he doesn't know this area. During the war, the North killed 12 million, 10 million, 5 million. He has not cared to study how many people the Arochukwu people captured for the white people. People who spoke the language that they used at that time. They never cared because there was no identity that was general. They never cared. They never cared how Arochukwu used the long juju, the Binachuka or Binawabi shrine to trick people and sell them to the white people. Millions of people were sold through the machinations, contrivances of the Arochukwu people. They never cared whether you're from Onitsha, whether you're from Owerri, whether you're from anywhere. They will capture you, they will burn down your house, they will take you and give to the white people, carry and go. And now you are pushing for unity. The Ngwa people We are going about catching people and eating them as human beings. You can say it never happened. It happened. I will get you a book from a white man where it was recorded. Ngwa people, we are eating people. They will dig a big hole, put mat, put chair there. Ngwa, you will sit down and enter the boil hot water. Some they roasted them. They never cared where the people came from. The people they killed were not Hausa people. We are not Fulani people. We are not Yoruba people. People within they captured and killed. The Ohafia people and the Abreba people. Abreba and Ohafia. We are going about capturing people. Sacrificing them to their gods. And they now brought the skulls and begin to dance with the skulls to show their military power and prowess. They never cared. People committed all sorts of crimes, atrocities, heinous ones indeed, because there was no identity to say everybody was the same as they are pushing it now. The issue of Igbo unity began through trade. Alexbritish. Alexbritish Chinedu Ikwerre. If you don't acknowledge me after this lecture, you are wicked. You are wicked. You must. The issue of Igbo unity, as people are pushing now, Igbo unity came through trade. When people began to buy and sell after the white man had created the regions, it became strong. From the 1930s, it started gradually. Trade started coming. And they said, let us form trade associations. But as a union began after the creation of regions. Then they had the Igbo State Union to begin to bring people who have similarities in the group together. That is what union means. And make out dearly. Igbo Union became formed. Welcome. It's like we are brothers. It's like we are brothers. It's like we're brothers. Because we bear the same name, we speak the same language, we are brothers. But that was not the case. From the beginning, it was not the case. Every group was independent, existed on its own. Until later, people began to see the need that it's like we have something in common. Let us come together. That is the history. Regardless of all that, some people began to question their identities. Yes, we are one. Igbo is just like America. Yoruba is like America. Hausa is even like America too. Everybody in America now speaks the same language. They bear similar names. Even people who came from Africa, Asia, sold into slavery in that area have all jettisoned their names. Now they bear English white man's names. That does not make them white people. That you are a black person, you are from the mongrel family, other parts of the world, you find yourself in America, where you speak the same language, practice the same culture, obey the same rules, does not make you forget where you came originally from. It cannot. That is how Igbo is like. Yes, we are one, just like America. If America has a war now with any country, everybody will go. Whether you are black, Indian, Chinese, Iran, even Egyptians, for the fact that you carry that citizenship of America, you can even fight your own country. Your original country, you can follow other people and fight your country in the name of America. But that does not make you from that area. That does not also make you that because you are an American, you that is from Africa and the person from India or Asia are the same people. No, it doesn't. That is the way it is in Igbo. That is the way it is in Yoruba. That somebody from Ikwerre, from Afibo, from Arochukwu will tell Oguta person that we are the same mother with the same father. No, that we are one people. How? Explain. Because you speak the same language, you bear similar names, but you don't care to ask, where did you come from? You. And you tell the person, see where I came from too. I have asked more than 200 Igbo people. Explain to me, where did your own community come from, your own clan come from in Igbo land? Let's begin to piece everything together. You are from Ahafia. Where did your ancestors come from? You are from Arochukwu. Where did your people come from? You are from Afibo. Where did your people come from? You are from Suka. Where did your people come from? You don't ask. You only what you care is, you are Igbo. You are Igbo. What cognitive value does it have? What does it have? It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. There are no essentials in it. No benefits. We still remain like that. You only say you are Igbo. It ends there. You can't come to my place and contest election. You can't come here and take a wife for free. You can't come here and take land for free. You can't come here and take food for free. Nothing. Only you are Igbo. It ends there. That is not what Dr. Nnamdi Ikwerre looked at. The sage looked at it and went beyond that and defined the origin of his people. Oguta people looked at that and said, yes, we may all speak the same, we may bear similar names, but we are not one people. Look at the origin of my people. And people are quarreling. As an Ikwerre man, because I answer Chinedu, and somebody from Eza, from Afibo, from Suka, bears the name Chinedu, I will say, oh, it's my brother. How can I go to his state and gain anything? What value is he to me? It doesn't work out that way. So the issue is that the origin of the people who are called Igbo is one that is unclear to Igbo people and clear to the white people, because the white people brought out the name Igbo and gave to the people that they met when they came to this part of the world. They gave the name, and they also began to study the people they met, looking at them based on their similarities, based on their differences, and they began to sum them up as groups belonging to a particular tribe. They never care to ask, who are these people originally? Because it is very evidential that that Igbo person may not have the same history as a Soka person. That the Soka person may not have the same history as an Owerri person. Owerri person may not have the same history as Onitsha as a person. So where did the groups come from? If the members of the groups were not vetted by one mother, one father, where did they all individually come from? People should explain. So that is all that it is. Arochukwu people were the people who propagated this name to go wide. They moved out from their area because of one reason or the other and begin to quarter in many areas. So they began to assert themselves as a powerful group, as people respected. In Owerri, the late Chief Kamalo, within the period of 1956-1957, tried his best to unseat Chief Njamanze from Owerri and take over the government of Owerri. There was a very big war, crisis in Owerri between the Agbo group and the Owerri group. In Obi the Agwa, it was the same. Umudim, Atananambra, it was the same. In many parts of Ikwerre, people resisted their dominant behaviors. So that was what actually happened. Ikwerre people, like the Onitsha people, like the Obi, the Agwa people, the Egbema people, the Ekpeye, Akuba people, Anyoma, Anyocha, Okwane, Eka, Abo, so many groups say that they are from Benin. The Nsoka people say that they are from Egala. The Ngri people say that they and Egala are brothers. The Ezolo, Izi. Many of them in that Ebonyi state have roots in Ogoja, in Idoma, in Otrobo. So people came from different groups to compose what we call today the Igbo. And Ikwerre people say, for the fact that the name means bush, they are not interested. They have nothing against the people who call themselves Igbo people. It's their choice. In the white man's land, somebody, I think they claim rice that we eat. George Bush is something. John Flowers, Thomas Kai, Abraham Fish. I've seen so many names. That's how the white people answer. So that was the guy name of the people who call themselves Igbo people, bush people, forest people. What about the original name? What about the original founder? Nobody is originally Igbo. As we have it today, people are now in one block, was not how it was before now. People were separate. People lived on their own. There was no interference. Today now you have one governor, in one group, as we had Akanebia, governor of the whole Eastern region, administering various peoples who had or who have various ethnic definitions. One person. The white man made it so. It was not so before. There was never a time on half a person governed over a person, or Soka person took permission from Oguta person to do anything. Things changed when the white people came. They began to lump people into one group based on their definitions, based on their studies. But they never cared to ask people, originally, where did people come from? It might surprise you that when I begin in this way, when I embark on a journey to begin to disembark the people called Igbo, to find what you're going to find, surprises might come. Like in Ikwerre here, we know that Ohaji people are part of us, even to Owerri. In the 1930s, Owerri people were part of us. Owerri were part of us. That's why they played the Owu that we play. The Agba people play the Erebu and the Ngelenga and the Eriobo that we play. We are the same. This Oyibo we are seeing here, we are all attached to the Irebe people, even down to Asa. If you look at them, look at Asa people, look at the Ikwerre people. The way they build houses is the same, the way they live the same. The way they mentality is the same. Just look at it. Asa people do not have the Unwa mentality. No. Look at the Bema people. Them and the Oba people have commonalities a lot. They have commonalities a lot. Look at them Doni people and the Oguta people. They are one group. That was how the white people summed up all these things. Because they are not homogeneous in many ways. They are not the same. Because we play Mau that we borrow from Igbo land, play Owu that we borrow from Kalabari people, Igbo, Okonko, Ebe, Obone that we borrow from Ibibe people, does not make that Ikwerre people are part and parcel of those areas. Culture can be shared, can be borrowed. That is not the problem. Language is part of culture. People learn language that is not their own. People learn culture that is not their own. That's why I said it can be shared. It can be borrowed. It can be copied. Let me use that language. It can be copied. Language can be imitated. That is how life is all about. For the part that people are relating through marriage, trade, diplomatic reasons, whatever, people can learn a lot from each other and integrate them. That does not mean that by the time you find your name or what I do in my area, I'm part of you. If an Igbo person now sees somebody answering Kelechi, bearing Chukwuma in Sabama, he will say, the whole of Sabama are Igbo. They are Igbo people. That is the answer Kelechi there. The answer Uchenna there. But in Europe, the French people have words that are common with English words. Republic, Republica. Table, table. International, international. Television, television. All the same. Michael, Michelle, Mary, Maria, so on and so forth. All the Schengen countries have things that are similar. The culture of the British person is almost like that of the French person. But they fought a lot during the 19th century. In fact, they were the highest enemies in human history. During the Napoleonic time, the time of King Napoleon, the French fought a lot of wars with the British. But they have things in common. They are neighbors. They copied a lot from each other. The Spanish, the Dutch, the Italians, they have a lot in common, but they are not one people. There is how you can stay in a particular place, all about you can be lost. Just like an Igbo person who says his ancestors or her ancestors came from Israel down to here, and the language is lost. The names are not the same. The food they eat is not the same. How do you explain it? So it is not a background or yardstick to measure originality. Originality is the source. Where did you pull out from before you expanded? That is it. The people should not look at it that it is something lethargic, something exasperating, something tiresome to talk about origin. It is a very straightforward something. I came from here. You can't question because you don't know the time. You don't know whether it is true or it is false. You just conclude it's a lie. But defend it. You cannot. Aha. The white people are the cause of everything. If they had not come to Nigeria, people wouldn't have been lumped into one group. This issue of you are from here, you're from there, wouldn't have arisen. At all. Nobody cared at that time to talk about where anybody came from. But when the arrows started, trying to dominate other groups, the issue of where I came from, where you came from, began to, bring out its ugly head. Then the region was created. And those who dominated the region, the administrators, began to manage the region based on identity. And that was how favoritism, nepotism came about in Nigeria. People considered their people in certain things, gave them preferences above other people. That was how everything came about. Before that, Onitsha person would take his wares to Asaba to go and sell and come back. He never started any authority. He never even explained much about his people because they know, the woman Onitsha, he said they related and they left. But when region came, the people who were given the authority to saddle over the other people began now to look at the identities of people before giving us something. People became assigned to certain responsibilities based on where they came from. In fact, when states or state pattern of, a government came, it worsened everything. Anambra person saw himself as the Lord and treated the Ebonyi people today that they call Igbo people today as if they were rats, as if they were nobodies. Because the East Central State was mainly managed by them. Other people didn't matter. So it was not like this as we say today, you are Igbo, you are Igbo. Nobody was Igbo originally. Nobody was Igbo originally. What you call today, Igbo man, Igbo woman, Igbo group never existed at the time that I am talking about. The 19th century, the 18th century, the 17th century, back west, nobody was identified as Igbo by group or as a person. That never happened. It was when relationship started coming, closer. People started coming closer. It's okay. It's like we are one. Then they began to form association, began to form union. Let everybody come together. That was what really happened. So when Igbo people say they are not Igbo people, allow them. They are not. Maybe. In fact, not like maybe, they are not, because there is no relationship between Ikwerre and other people. There is no relationship between other people and Ikwerre, upper people, Ikwerre people. That you answer the name I answer is not enough to conclude that I am your brother, I am your sister. But when something that a brother can do for a brother, a sister can do for a sister, a brother can do for a sister, comes, you run away. You will now know the people who are truly your people. When that thing comes, and what you are going to do, for that your brother, you call brother, that your sister, you call sister, you will now know exactly who is your true brother, who is your true sister. That is what happens. That is what we call nepotism. That is what we call favoritism. You give people something based on how close people are. in a particular group, it is always the people from your own area. Outside the group, it is always the people from your own area. When somebody becomes president, like Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe did, almost all the positions in Nigeria were given to Igbo people. Buhari came and replicated that. Tinubu has come now, the same pattern. So that is bad. And I want to say thank you for watching and listening to what I do. Acknowledge me. Don't abuse. Don't curse. If you curse me, I will curse you back. If you abuse me, I will abuse back. I'm not a gentleman historian. And if you become so incompatible that we cannot, continue to relate, I block you out or delete you as a friend. We part ways. I don't care. You're not giving me anything. You're only taking lecture from me. No school fees. No thank you. No welcome. I delete you out. It ends there. That's what I do. I want to say a special greeting to one of the paramount rulers in Ikwerre land, a good man, in the person of His Royal Majesty, Eze Nyebuchi Leslie Eke, the Eze Evo of Evo Kingdom. I want to say greeting, a special one too, to my elder brother, a nice person in Ikwerre land, Professor Joseph Abruho Mwobike, SAM. I want to say a special greeting to my good friend, Chief Mike Elechi from Elele. I want to say a special greeting to my brother, a very, very nice man. In my presence, he gave somebody 500,000 naira. Go and do what you're doing. Give another person 800,000, and he has been helping people. Chief Barrister Malam Wale from Abo Kingdom, from Alobo, and so many other people. Special greetings to all of you, my esteemed friends on social media. I want to say God Almighty bless you, give you your heart desires. In the name of His Son, Jesus Christ. Amen, amen, amen.